Welcome, Night Owls, to the Book Club After Dark podcast, an inviting moonlit podcast. I'm your host, Danny.
And I'm Michelle. We review fantasy, romantasy, dark romance, and thriller novels.
All things enchanting, intriguing, suspenseful, and maybe a little spicy.
Each episode features intimate discussions on captivating stories, fan theories, and more. And this is your content warning. This podcast contains mature themes and discussions that may not be suitable for all audiences. Episodes include explicit language and descriptions of mature romance, as well as depictions of violence and other intense subject matter. This podcast is rated R for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any spoilers tonight, but we do have a guest, and it's one of our interview episodes, so I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be pretty great. Let's get going.
Yeah. So let's get cozy because the best stories are told after dark.
Yeah, tonight we're interviewing our friend and founder of Authentic Books based in Orlando, Florida. This is Natisha. Thank you so much for joining us, Natisha. We're really excited to have you here. This is awesome. And we're so glad to finally have you on the show. So welcome, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting. Yeah, I'm Natisha. I am the founder of Authentic Books. Started as a book subscription service back in 2020. 6 years later, we now have a brick and mortar, our bookstore. So Orlando knows me mostly from that. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here, and especially since we've had a lot of events with Authentic Books. So we're definitely excited
Yes.
to get into the nitty-gritty of what it's like, having your subscriptions and owning a bookstore. So you gave us like high level, but really give us the lore behind Authentic Books. Why did you start your subscriptions, and what has brought you to this line of work?
Yeah, of course. So I have a background in marketing and sales. So I was doing that at a publishing house out of Brooklyn. And then fast forward to 2020, work had kind of slowed down. I have three girls. Carpooling, the activities, like all of that had ceased. And so I really was able to sit down and start reading again. Books has been my whole life, but then you become an adult and you start to run out of time. And yeah, I remembered those feelings and I didn't want to forget it of longing for the next chapter and then mourning the book when it's done. And then you go down this full rabbit hole trying to chase that feeling again. And again, you couldn't leave the house. And so I thought it would be so cool to receive a box where all of the items come straight from the story and they go with all five of your senses. So this fully immersive experience. It wasn't so much of remembering the book itself. Let's say you didn't like it. The point of it was if you were to smell this candle again or to drink this tea again, then you would hopefully remind yourself, like, no, I have to make time for this. Like, this is a special time. This is a special feeling. And so, yeah, I just started it as an idea, no funding. I didn't even have a business plan. And then within 2 months, it blew up and I was not expecting it. Which it was awesome, but also very scary because I couldn't necessarily hire a team. And within 4 years, we had 800 subscribers. And 6 years later, now we have our brick and mortar. So we've had that now for 2 years. So the concept for the bookstore is basically a play on the boxes. I can't curate every single book on the shelf. So for the store, it's still a flat rate. So in essence, a similar model as a subscription box without it being a subscription. So you get a tote bag, any book in our store, and any three sensory items. And we have a full wall that's broken up between taste, smell, touch. And then at the end, you also get like a little instrumental music playlist. And so we've made different playlists to go with the different genres. So it's not totally the same as the boxes, which is fully curated, but the store is a little bit more budget friendly and you get exactly what you're wanting. So I don't know, it makes it a little bit more fun. And so the book titles change 1 to 2 times a week. The store is a baby, it's small, but we use that to our advantage. You were to buy a thriller book, then I have this running list of thriller books. So I'll replace it with a completely different book. So you can basically come in the very next weekend and the entire wall will be different. And then our sensor wall changes once a month. So if you were to be reoccurring, it's not the same tote bags, it's not the same candles, it's not the same lotions. Yeah, it keeps evolving past that. And now we have events, and my biggest goal and dream is it to eventually turn into a publishing house. So yeah, it's been a wild 6 years. Considering there was not much planning behind it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think starting a business in 2020 is, first of all, like, incredibly brave, during the time and phase that we were in at that time with COVID and all the things happening. And then as a mom of 3 on top of that, I can only imagine just, going for it, and just taking the leap of faith, and being here now has to be, so rewarding to kind of see what Authentic Books has become in that time, and how many others, that this has touched. And Book Club After Dark is included in that, because as soon as we started, you were like, "Yeah, absolutely, come. I'd love for you to record here because you have such there's a really cool, like, event space that's in your bookstore." And I will say this, like, for those in your Central Florida area, if you have not made a stop at Authentic Books, it is absolutely unlike any of the other Orlando-based bookstores. It's a totally different concept. It's really cool. Um, and even though the bookstore, section is smaller, that immersive and, truly, uh, for lack of a better word, authentic experience is really there. And it is. It's such a curated experience. Even though you're choosing the items, the fact that you know that you're going based by genre and you're replacing it with a different book, and you're, like, hand selecting playlists based on that, and you may not be doing the really curated box, but you're still really getting something that you get to choose on your own. And every time I've done it, which has been almost every time I go there, I end up doing it because it's so cool. You get the book, you get all the things. And even behind me right now, for those watching, I went to a Book Bedazzle event, so that's my Crescent City Book Bedazzled, and then I have 2 of the candles, one of which was from our Quicksilver event, where we got to make the guests got to make their own candles that were scent profiled. And I just think that you've done something that, was really brave, and something that worked, and it was creatively just something I've never seen. And I still, I've been to a lot of huge other cities that have bookstores too, and none of them have been the concept that is Authentic Books. So, you said you started with your subscription boxes. Um, how did you, like, start with that? And, like, how did you decide on what your, like, first themes would be, and what you were gonna choose for those? And I know the candle making thing, like, how did all that kinda kick off, and what did that look like at its infancy at the beginning of this brand?
Again, I just went for it. I didn't even know how to print out a shipping label. So like that's how much I just like dove in. Like I will figure this
Yeah.
out. But yeah, I started with again, because there was no funding. I didn't know how this was gonna work. So thankfully, my husband is very talented. So he's in charge of all branding. He's made our beautiful website, and he also designed the subscription box, like the actual box that things get shipped
Oh, okay.
in.
Oh,
So the first step was just a mock-up, and we would just get boxes printed like one at a time, just trying to figure out like what the color is going to be, what's the font going to be. So I hyper focused on that. And yeah, I didn't want to buy things in advance. It did not work out. So when I started the Instagram page, I did not know Bookstagram was a thing. So I started our Instagram page, and like Bookstagram just like took me and made me a part of the community so quick, even though there was no product yet. So I just would post kind of the vibe. Like these are the quality. Like these products are made from other small businesses, very high quality. You aren't getting, some. cheap candle with a plastic wick. You're not getting a random tea. I'm talking like these are other small businesses that have put, almost like me, they just went for it. They have put so much thought in their product, in their branding, in their packaging. We have very bougie chocolate bars that retail for like $10. Like this was like quality. And so yeah, I just was posting on Instagram the vibe. This is me as a person. This is my vibe. And so the first month it was, I think, 25 people, which is super exciting because these are people I
That's
don't
great.
know. So I'm like, who
Yeah.
are these people?
Yeah.
How did you find me? Because I think I had like maybe 200 Instagram followers.
Mhm.
And yeah, within 3 months, we had gotten to, it was like 200 or 300 subscribers. And like, I'm
Wow.
not running ads or anything. Like, I
Yeah.
am
Oh
not,
my gosh, that's crazy.
I'm not doing a
Mhm.
Yeah.
ton. Like, I am obviously taking my photos and doing the Instagram stories, but not routinely. Like, I'm not, a content creator. I'm not doing what you guys are doing. I don't have the fancy equipment. So I was very shocked. And the way that I decided the books we're going to pick originally is I gave people the option of a romance, a thriller, and well, actually, it was just the two at first, a romance and a thriller. So both of those boxes are completely curated. And so you get to customize what book do you want? What drink do you want? And so the original concept was what I thought would be the it books of the month because they were, so if it was July, then it's only the books that came out in July. But I'm
Okay.
ordering, eventually I'm like reading and ordering things in advance. So
Yeah.
I'm having to guess, like, is this going to be the it book or not?
Mhm.
And that's kind of how I started the book process. As of right now, the bookstore kind of, and I will get there too, that a bookstore is actually a happy accident. I did not plan to open a bookstore. That just kind of also happened. And yeah, it just kind of took over. And so I paused new subscribers to the boxes. And so I just kind of work with the subscribers I currently have. But I'm really excited because I'm hoping early 2027, the boxes are getting fully rebranded.
Oh wow.
It's still the five senses, but a whole new
Okay.
concept. And it will no longer be the it books of the month. I think with the store, with it being a small space, I quickly learned that people can easily get the newest Emily Henry or the newest Akatar book, for example, from anywhere,
Mhm.
any
Yeah.
bookstore, online, the library, anywhere. And so in a bookstore space, you have to you decide, like, well, how am I going to be different? And so we've used our smart space to basically, hopefully you feel like you found your next hidden gem. My goal is you walk in and you don't know the titles. Maybe you know a few, but I want you to be kind of taken aback. Like, oh, I have not seen these books. So all of the girls who work at the bookstore, we call them in-house librarians. And they help me curate all of our book lists. I hire them based on their different tastes of books. So it's really exciting and to see it evolve. But yeah, it started with these are the popular books of the month. They're curated. I would work with the author and I would tell them my notes like, hey, you mentioned these three scents in your story. Like, what would you want it to smell like? So one of my favorites is Carrie Soto is that, and it's tennis themed. And so Taylor Jenkins Reid said that she wanted it to smell like grass. And I'm like, oh, because this has to appeal to the masses, this candle.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And so candles are my babies. I actually love mixing up the oils and kind of deciding what to send out. And I ended up mixing, this is my secret recipe, of fresh cut grass with mint mojito, which is going to sound
Oh.
weird, but I basically was trying to get a citrus like lime with the grass, but it was still
Oh.
feeling very bitter. So I'm like, oh, if I do mint mojito, it has a little bit of sweetness. So the sweetness like completely broke through that bitterness. And it is absolutely one of my favorite candles I have ever
So
made.
random.
So yeah, it's like so random. So I get so excited whenever people they challenge me.
Yeah.
Um and
And in this
'cause
case,
there's
like,
so
not
many
just
books out
people,
there.
this is the Taylor Dickens re this is, like, she's a huge
Yeah.
author. She's,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if you this The Seven Husbands, book, she's did Atmosphere most recently. She's got a ton of books, and I like that all her stories kind of, interweave certain characters. She's,
Yeah.
like, known for this, so that's pretty cool too. But yeah, it's awesome that you go to the author and ask, like, what does this smell like to you? And I think I actually have one right here called Maine Nights, which is Lucy by the Sea, which was one of the
Yes.
books that you did. And this scent is Sweet Coastal Breeze. But if you look at it, and for those like watching online and see this clip of it, you can see it's Authentic Books soy
Mhm.
wax candle. So it's not, you're not getting a candle that's pre-made somewhere else by someone. These are extremely curated boxes where you're getting a truly unique item that you can't go buy off the shelf somewhere else. There's
Mhm.
no, you don't go buy this anywhere else. Authentic Books is the only place that's going to have this. I think that's so cool that you've created something with the author in mind that actually has a say in what their book would smell like. And it's just very cool that the senses that you have in there. But yeah, totally
I
unique,
thought it was
unique thing.
so I'm so surprised and so excited how willing the authors were to like work with me because this whole business is just me just going for it. So I'm like, I don't even know they're going to respond to me. And every single person I've ever reached out to, like I've done almost all of Allie Hazelwood's books, like Hannah Grace, and I'm trying to think of all the people. I actually have all the old candle labels in my studio, and you would probably have a field day like going through. There's so many, and they've all been so great. They want their readers to feel more attached to their story. And
Yeah.
it's also I know I love my authors and with the small business people because they're essentially they I know we get excited that these, are very well-known authors, but in essence, they're also just people who are doing something they love that's very creative and they're hoping
Mhm.
that you enjoy it. And so this whole thing has just been really exciting. Again, it's been a whirlwind and a tornado because I still world blocks still happen, surprises still come, and you have to figure it out on the spot.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
that kind of
brings
leads
me to the
into
candle.
oh,
You
yeah.
asked me about the candle. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way I did the candles. So when I first started, I found a candle maker that lived in North Carolina. And again, we started with like 25 people. And she's like, no problem. She's making this in her garage. I would send her the scent and we would work together that way. And so we grew so fast that I think we had gotten up to 400 subscribers by that. So I started in September 2020. So I want to say it was by April or March 2021, we had gotten up to 400.
Wow.
And she sent me this long middle of the night email. And she's like,
Oh,
I
no.
am so happy for this opportunity. It's just that this is too much. Because she
Oh,
also had
yeah.
just had a baby. Again, she's making this in her garage. It's taking her forever to make all of these candles. Really, she has to ship them to me. And we hope
Yeah.
and pray they do not break. And she's like, I will give you my recipe of how I do this, but I want to give you a warning that anyone can give you their recipe and the candles will not come out the same. So she's like, so I'm giving you a 1 month like notice. So I had an entire month to buy all the supplies. I watched all the videos. I read all the
Yeah.
articles. I read her notes. I wrote down all the temperatures, all the weights, all the different types of wax, all the different, and I just butchered batches and batches of candles until
Oh,
I
no.
like figured it out. I figured it out. And you know what? It was for the best because now I get to curate these
Right.
scents, like me personally. And that's a part of the business I will never hand off again. Like 6 years later, I still do all of it myself. I make all the candles for the bookstore still. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, I thankfully now I can make like 100 candles in an hour. So I figured it out.
You got it down.
Yeah.
Pat.
I got it.
Yeah.
Well,
Got it
that kind
down
of
to
leads
it.
into like what your favorite part and least favorite part about owning authentic books is. So, would you say your favorite part is the curating of the candles and having that autonomy?
Yes. Honestly,
Okay.
all the curation part.
Okay.
Because again, we want to have different books. So every month I challenge my employees and myself, my store manager. On the back end, we actually have different niche genres that we come up with books for. So for August, it's Mythical Beauties, Fever Dream, and I can't remember the last one. But yeah, since we all have different sense of taste, then we all suggest completely different books. And then
Mhm.
I use that list for the month to fill in the shelf. I mean, obviously I'll pull from others, but that just helps us not suggest the same books over and over and over. Uh but yes, if I had to choose what part of the curation I like the most, well, I don't know. I do love picking the book. The books and the candles are right there because
Okay.
it's brand new books you are seeing all the time on the internet.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, we're like digging through. We're digging through.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the candle making, yeah, it's right up there as well.
Is there a scent or not a scent? Is there one of the senses that's more difficult to curate for? Because you're trying to hit all five senses. So is one of them a little bit more on the difficult side, or are they about even?
I will say taste. I meant taste. I'm so sorry. Touch. Touch is
Okay.
the hardest because the book is sight, the candle is smell, taste is the teas, you have cocktail mix, you have coffee, yeah, the sound cards for the instrumental. But touch is always the hardest because I want it to literally feel like it came out of the book. And that's kind of difficult when you're working with other small businesses
Mhm.
because I have to now find a small business that has this, but then it has to be within budget
Yeah, oh,
at the
yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So it's
fun.
that could be pretty challenging. I will say for the bookstore, it's not as of a challenge since it is not fully curated.
Mhm.
But yeah, touch is always that usually takes me the longest. I can zone through the other senses, but that one probably takes me a few days.
Do you have like a
Which,
favorite like book that you did for touch? I'm trying to think like,
yeah,
obviously like
Give
touch,
an
like what's
example.
soft, what's like, for like what it, yeah, I need an example.
okay. Gosh, I have a favorite candle. I have a favorite tea. I will say for touch, I don't have a favorite, but a good example is for the book. What was it? It was Lisa Jewell. None of this is true. And
Mm.
Love that book.
so the woman has this bumblebee necklace, and then
Mhm.
the other woman like steals it. And so I'm like, well, I have to find a bumblebee necklace. But my whole thing with the boxes, and it's been like this from day one, it's been like this with the store, is I don't ever want you to feel like you're getting junk, like things you don't need. So touch is usually more like bath products, shower steamers, bath bomb, like things I want you to use every single piece of this box. Like there should be nothing left over. There should not
Mhm.
be in the back of your
I love
closet.
that.
All of it should be gone. But for this particular thing, so I will say you do get 3 touch items. So it was just one of the 3. But I really wanted you guys to have this bumblebee necklace, but that should be something you would actually wear, not some just cheap necklace. And I wish I had it with me right now. It's like way up in my room, but it was one of those necklaces where it has like a small ring and it's okay. Imagine a long necklace that like is like U shape, right? And so there's a bumblebee on like a charm on one end. And so you put the bumblebee in the loop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So like,
Okay.
put it on.
Yeah.
So it's the bumblebee kind of, and it was so pretty. And so I really love that I was able to find that because it's a challenge. I don't even
Yeah.
know, if it's possible once I will go down a very far rabbit hole if I have determined I need this item right now.
Mhm.
Because I did that with, I don't know if you heard of the book Black Cake.
Mhm.
It's
Yes.
a
Mhm.
TV show right now. I have not
I love
watched
that
it.
book.
But I love the book so much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need people to have the black cake in their box. And I
Wow.
searched and I searched and I found it. I was so happy because it has to be prepackaged. Like I
Yeah.
can't bake this on my
Exactly.
house and ship this out. I found
Mhm.
a prepackaged black cake. It did not fit in the boxes. So I like the boxes are all like humped over. And I had to like email people like, hey, I know that this is bursting at the seams, but I really needed you to have this black cake.
Mhm.
Amazing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, that's just what lengths you'll go for your subscribers and how you're truly just you're doing it for them and you want that experience. So, what about like least favorite? Do you have a least favorite aspect of owning the store or your subscriptions? And
I will say the not fun parts. Uh, I mean, all the creative parts are so fun.
Mhm.
My least favorite parts will have to be just admin work. Again, I started all of this without a business plan. I do not have business experience. I don't have anyone in my family who's ever started a business.
You do now.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I make lots of mistakes. Like we're human. I make the mistakes, but then I learn from it. But you don't know you're going to make a mistake until it happens. So a lot of the admin work is me making a mistake. All right, how am I going to fix this? And then moving forward. Because it can be tough sometimes as a business owner. There's certain mistakes where, I mean, it can just make you feel like you have failed. And now I can't bring myself to work the rest of the day. But I'm like, no, I have to. So you have to keep motivating yourself and pushing yourself.
Yeah.
And, I don't have a co-founder or I don't really have anyone else but myself to, you know, on a higher level, keep this all going. So
Mhm.
I sometimes feel like I can't have a bad day. So I just have to make the
Right.
mistakes and just learn like, okay, well, we got to keep going. We have to figure this out. And, you feel like the whole world is upset with you and you're just trying to do your best. Because
Yeah.
I love all of my customers. I love all my subscribers. I love this whole process. But yeah, it's not always fun.
Yeah. That's
No.
fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can empathize with that. I think as you're going, what kind of personality wise, how would you say you kind of tackle that? Are you very like hard on yourself? You were saying like kind of just like if you make a mistake, you want to like throw in the towel for that day. Like you're just like, ugh. Or have you gotten a resiliency over time where you're just like, all right, this is what it is. We're just gonna have to we're gonna have to adapt and overcome and figure this out. Would you say like over time that's kind of built some resiliency in how you approach business ownership and how you kind of handle those things now versus at maybe say at the start?
Oh, absolutely. You have to grow thick skin very fast. At the beginning, I just one bad email, I've like crumbled. I've fallen apart. And now today, I mean, I don't know. It's not that I don't care if I were to get
No, no,
a
of course
bad
not.
email or
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
but being able to like, okay, this happened. I've responded to this. Uh, but let's keep going. And
Yeah.
so I just have to be a lot more strict with my time and the work that I do. I think it's easy to kind of go down that rabbit hole of negativity when your day isn't as structured because oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do today anyways. But since I kind of feel like I'm running two separate businesses, it has to stay very structured. I have like a retail admin day, I have a subscription box admin day, I have a subscription packing day, I have a creativity day. So I have it so strict that
Yeah.
well, I can't lose this day. Like this
Right.
is my day to focus on And then within that day, I mean, my lists are back to back. And so, yeah, you kind of have to grow that thicker skin and just know that. Actually, I heard something recently that stuck with me. Um, I was, so I'm in this Tory Burch Fellowship, and one of the founders that I was speaking with, I noticed that anytime she mentioned something that I would probably consider like, where I would probably use the word fail or failure, like something like a negative that way, she would say experience instead. So she would say my wins and experiences, for example. So I'm like, oh, because you always hear your wins and your failures. So it was such an interesting like turn to not call it a failure, but just call it an experience. I'm like, yes, that's what this is.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a really good segue to our next question. And you kind of talked about your differences between your boxes experience, how you came about the storefront. Um, what kind of roadblocks have you faced in terms of selling books or merch, like who you've gotten, partnerships with, or hosting events or authors? Like, what are some notable things that stick out to you that were obstacles that you had to overcome either on the fly or in ways that you didn't anticipate? I know you mentioned the candle one of her giving you kind of like a month's notice, but like, is there anything else like you've done this for many years now, and I have to imagine that you've come up against some things where you're like, we're just gonna have to figure it out. Like, what were some notable ones? And I think for those listening, and for ourselves who are, we're small business owners with Book Club After Dark, and we've gone through our own adversity and continue to recreate and learn as we go. It's hard. So I think there are other listeners who would benefit from hearing what some of those experiences were and how you overcame them.
Right. This probably is a good time to mention how I accidentally opened a bookstore.
Okay.
Because it was that's a really
Sure.
good example. So the boxes again, it grew so fast. We moved 6 times in 5 years. Because we just
Oh,
kept
wow.
needing bigger space.
Mhm.
So the space I have currently for the bookstore was actually my studio for the boxes. And so most of my 800 subscribers actually did not live in Florida. So Orlando kept thinking a bookstore was going to open. But I am in here. I have no shoes on. I am in just sweatpants. The store did not look like how it looks now. White walls, gray floors, blasting my music. And so I was there for a full year. And then after the year came, I kept getting a little bit more of a push, like, hey, this should be a bookstore. I'm like, I really don't have time for this. So I built up a wall and I said, okay, it would just be me in here during the day, and anything left over from the boxes will go in the store. So even if it's just one book, then I'm sure just one person will probably walk in one day and buy this one book. Like I can handle that going back and forth. Well, Orlando Magazine had asked to do an interview, and this was like 2, 3 months before this bookstore was going to open. And I'm like,
Air
sure,
quotes.
yeah, we can do this. Let's do this interview. And the article gets published. My face is literally an entire page, so I'm also mortified that they zoomed in this much. And underneath it, they wrote immersive bookstore. And I'm like, oh my God, what's an immersive bookstore? So I immediately Googled
About
it.
you.
What is this?
I till this day, I have no idea what I told this guy for him to write this because
Oh, no.
he doesn't explain the concept. He does not explain what this means. And so I Google immersive bookstore and nothing comes up. This does
Oh,
not exist.
great.
This is not a
Yeah.
thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to open an immersive bookstore. Because then after that, the local newspaper ran an article about this.
Oh,
And so I'm like, okay, yeah, this
Now
is a
I'm
thing now.
stuck.
So I very quickly, again, within 2, 3 months, had to create an entire bookstore. Because again, I'm talking, it's white walls. If you guys ever look up photos at the bookstore, if you've not been in, that is not at all the vibe. Someone recently told
No,
me
it's not. It's
that
beautiful.
my bookstore vibe was a classy vampire. So
Mhm.
I thought
It is.
was
That
Yeah.
is the
With
interesting.
your
aesthetic.
velvet
Very nice.
couch. Yeah,
It is. It's
absolutely.
Perfect.
yeah.
Dark and
So yeah,
moody and that's nice. I love it.
my entire because I only had a few months. I am not a rich person. I did not have any money to do this. Was DIY. My dad painted the walls. I hung up the wallpaper. Some of the furniture is actually most of the furniture is basement marketplace, including the velvet couch, which was a fantastic find.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
it
I
was.
cleaned
it's a
you
good one.
know,
So comfortable.
home goods, mirrors, and lamps. But yeah, every single thing in there was very inexpensive. And I threw black paint on the floor and painted the floors myself in an attempted to put wood on the floor. So I pray no one looks close enough because I did not do a good job. And yeah, so the store opened. And again, I didn't really do any marketing behind it. And it was just me working in there. So I would say maybe the first week or two, I didn't expect much. Well, then all of a sudden there was like long lines at the door. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like, are they? I'm chronically late to things. So on this particular day, I'm 30 minutes late to work, and as I'm getting closer, I'm like, why are these people on the sidewalk? They were there for the store, and so for a full 2 months. So, the reason why is because 3 TikTokers, I am not on TikTok. So this was my fault for not knowing. 3 TikTokers on separate occasions had come in and made videos, and all of their videos had gone viral. And I had no idea this has happened to me. I still to this day have not watched the videos because I was terrified of what they said about me. Because no one asked me what the concept was. So I'm like, hopefully they understood. And yeah, the entire store was cleaned out for a full 2 months where
Wow.
I was having to shut the store down in the middle of the day to like hurry and make more product. So I always say I felt like I was a little witch in the bags, like just stirring. I'm talking with 2 hands, stirring the wax as quick as possible so that I could try
Crazy.
to reopen the store for that day. So I spent a full year building out an entire team. So now I have an event manager, I have a store manager, and then I have 6 employees that run the store. But with the subscription boxes, there was no full team. So this was something I had to figure
Yeah.
out very quickly. Well, how do you hire people? What do you look for? How do you train
Right.
them? I had to
Literally,
figure out
yeah.
how to write down the work. How do you schedule when they come in?
Right.
Yeah, the bookstore and having to hire an entire team was probably a very good example of what you asked.
Wow.
That's
I,
crazy because I wouldn't, going into the store, it looks like such a, because we've done events there.
Mhm.
It looks so planned, right? And it's
Oh
funny
yeah.
that it was just kind of an accident based because someone wrote something in the newspaper. You're
Yeah,
like, well,
They're like,
gotta
okay.
do it now.
well, I got to explain. Oh, yeah. I have to show you guys next time you come in one of the drawers of the register, which was basic marketplace vintage piece. I actually still have the clipboard in there with my printer, paper, me scribbling what the sensory wall is going to look like. And then I just went on Amazon and put the pill and stick tile on the wall and restained some Amazon shelves and like stuck those on the wall. So yeah, that was like a day of planning of okay, what is this wall gonna look like and not to hurry and get it out.
Thankful for
That's
Prime
nuts.
at that
Yeah,
point.
Honestly.
So, we've mentioned that we've been and we've hosted events at your store. So talk to us more about the different type of unique events that happen at Authentic Books and the
great.
process with finding
So
those.
the event, it kind of came on. So again, I love my candles. And so when I started doing the events, again, it was just me at the beginning. I just had strictly candle making workshops. And I was basically using that money to help build out the store. So I'm shocked that they did this. Uh, they were coming to my candle workshops in a space that was my studio. So there is mess everywhere, and they still were coming to these events. And uh, from there, I discovered my love of murder mystery parties. And then people were dressing up for them, and I didn't know they would. I didn't mention that. And it was just really cool to build this space and naturally attract people like myself. Because as an adult, like, heck yeah, like, let's go dress up and go to a party in the bookstore. Like, that just sounds so fun to me. And after that, I'm like, okay, well, we're going to keep doing these murder mystery parties. And it just kept evolving. We've had baby showers, we've had bridal showers, we've had birthday parties. And it blows my mind how much people loved using the space because, I mean, I don't have, well, okay, so I moved the studio out. So now it's a lounge on that side.
Yeah.
But I'm not selling merchandise on that side. So I always recommend people who have book clubs, you can come in. I do an indie author Saturday. And so they use the space for free the whole day. We don't take a percentage of any of their sales. It's literally a space for them to hopefully, get their book out there and people to learn about who they are. And then we have another local group called Herd, and they do zine making once a month, and they talk about different social issues. So anyone that's in the community that is looking for a space, I'm like, yeah, this space is here. Absolutely use it. And so, yeah, the events it just has kept evolving from there. We've started to get partnerships with even bigger places. The budget had gotten cut for this, but I was so excited. We got an email from Hulu, it was last year, and there was a movie coming out, and they wanted to turn our entire bookstore into a diner and give out free ice cream.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
I just thought that was so crazy. I'm like, how did you even find us? And so then after that, we got an email from Sony Pictures, and we did a whole kind of movie premiere, like a mini thing at the store. I've curated items that came from the movie. And I mean, the movie posters were everywhere, and they had they invited influencers to come, and it was so cool. And then from there, just recently got inquiry from an agency that works with like the Ritz-Carlton and does other national bookish conventions. And they kind of wanted us to be kind of a part of their pitch for when they pitch to get projects. Like they would just kind of bring us along with them. And so, yeah, it just keeps growing and going.
Yeah.
And so just figuring out how that, all works.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to mention Authentic Books is so great at leaning into the community. And again, we have done last year we did a couple events, or we did our Twilight event, which was awesome. We had to do 2 of them because it sold out and people loved it and dressed up and they had all their stuff. And we had a whole, like, we got to meet the author. We did an interview with the unofficial Twilight cookbook author. And so like we had curated food for that, and it was such a cool experience. And you're totally right. Like everybody who came wanted to dress up. They were so excited to do it. And it was such a blast. And we even the Quicksilver one was beloved. So it's been a really cool experience. And I love all the events that we've been able to take part in. And we are so appreciative of you taking a chance on us being a small podcast ourselves, and seeing the opportunity there, and being willing to take a chance on us. So one of the other things I wanted to ask you about is what it's starting this business and kind of falling into owning a bookstore, getting going super fast with the subscriptions. Is what's something that you wish you had like really learned earlier that you're like, man, this keeps biting me, or like I really wish I knew better about this one thing? Is there anything that comes to mind?
I wish if I could do it again. Um, and this is something that again I've learned being in this fellowship program is figuring out what your end goal is. Even if it's not today, in 10 years, what do you want this to look like? Whether it's you want to sell it or pass it down in your family, or you want this to be a publishing house one day. I wish I had done that because basically any question or partnership or anything that happens that is growing your business, if it aligns with that end goal, then it's an absolute yes. But if it doesn't, then it's an unfortunate, like, I don't, it's might not be a good
Yeah.
time, or maybe this just not align. Because at the beginning, it's just so exciting that everyone wants to, not everyone, we start getting inquiries, people want to
Mhm.
work with you, or all these opportunities come up,
Yeah.
and you want to say yes to everything. Like, why would I not say yes to everything? Like this,
Right. Yeah.
this person has looked me up and they love what I do. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I will say yes to you. And you quickly burn out. I had gotten to a period where I didn't even know I was coming. It was coming until it just hit me. And
Yeah.
uh, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So
No.
I wish that I had known that from the beginning. What is my end, so that I could have, even if it wasn't a total no, at least I could have spaced it out some. Like, let's touch base again in a few months, or at least like networking with that person so that you always have, that opportunity open, or you could work with them in some other capacity.
Mhm.
But yeah, that would have been very helpful at the beginning.
Yeah, you brought up burnout. So how do you balance work and life? I think that's something important for, I mean, it's an important topic for us to talk about, but important for our listeners to understand, when they want to take the leap of faith and start a business or follow their dream and do something. And I feel there's always the focus of, being successful, but can very quickly face that burnout. So how do you balance that regularly?
I will say, well, you mentioned success. You have to determine what success means to you personally.
Mhm.
So if it's financial success, well, what you kind of have to dig in deeper. Like, what do you
Right.
mean by financial success? Or
Yeah.
maybe you want to help your community, or maybe just a good example to your children. Like, hey, this is what just going for it looks like. So you kind of have to determine that first, and kind of figuring out what your values and priorities are. So when I
Mhm.
burnt myself out, I worked on this business nonstop. I'm talking like it was through the middle of the night. And then I would get up at 5 a.m. and keep going. And, I have 3 kids. So I'm just working, working, working. I'm not giving myself a break. And so once I burnt out, I'm like, you know what? My values, as much as I love all of this and I appreciate all of that has come to me, at the end of the day, my family and health is priority. So what I started to do was making them priority, and all work and opportunities had to work around that. So, now I can get that balance of, yeah, I can go in and help decorate my kids' classroom. But, in between, then I can stop at a coffee shop and get some work done. Which is why I just have to have everything so structured. 'Cause you can easily, miss what needs to be done. But I kind of had to also focus on health. So, for example, I have a therapist that I meet with every Tuesday. Honestly, most of the time, we're just messing around. I'm just telling her some crazy story that happened the week before. But, I have that outlet, and I have this person I can talk about all these things with. And if it's serious, it's serious. If it's not, it's not. And then I had to figure out, okay, well, how do I get some of this tension on my body? So, I do maybe a Pilates class once a week, or at least, go on a walk outside and get some vitamin D. So I don't know. I feel like, especially millennials, like hustle culture was like ingrained in us.
Yeah.
Like that is success to
Right.
be like, no, I work 24/7. And
Mhm.
so I am looking to be in my soft girl era right now, but also still run this business. So I am learning that that is a little tough to do both,
Mhm.
but that's kind of, I don't want to get to that point of burnout again. Cause I
Right.
mean, I had crashed and burned pretty hard. So I had to make, again, family and health such a priority, and kind of realizing not so much the triggers, but you start to realize when you listen to your body, like, okay, I might need to slow down. I might need
Mhm.
to push that meeting back 30 minutes so I can go and eat something, because even
Yeah.
that, I was not prioritizing even eating lunch. So, like, that's kind of crazy. I should be able to eat a sandwich.
Right.
So that's kind of how I balance it. I can't run a business with sound mind if I had pushed myself too hard, because then that's when you start to make mistakes. And I feel more creative and energized when I feel like I've been taking care of myself.
Yeah, and I think too, like touching on the mom thing, I think there's for Michelle and I who both work full time, and we're doing the podcast too, and we're trying to do events with this, and like where do we want it to go? And we kind of had, I think, in the last 6 months or so, a really like um calmness about, hey, if we miss posting today, is it detrimental? Is it the end of the world if this doesn't happen? And like where does our real focus need to be, where our family is still priority at the end of the day for both of us? um and also, that we've really taken the time for ourselves, and I think it's so true as millennial culture, and also as working moms, and just trying to set the example for our kids of like, look, you can go do this creative thing. Like, I think it's very much in the same vein of all of those things, but also if you go too hard, now you're letting yourself down, and now maybe you're letting your family down because you're not able to bring your whole self to what you need to do with them because you're so focused on whatever the other thing may be. And it can be a lot. And I'm glad that you mentioned therapy, because I think it's such a critical thing to have another outlet that's completely third party, who isn't
Yeah.
involved and can have that conversation. And I think as millennial culture, we are very pro therapy and pro like, take a breath, like it's gonna be okay. Like, and I bet you probably bring that to your management style of the bookstore too with your employees. I can only imagine you're like, you need a sick day, that's fine. We'll figure it out. And I can only imagine like that kind of
Yeah.
mindset is present of like, take care of yourself, because we don't want, I think that's the thing is like, I want my son to go for whatever dream he wants, and I want him to work hard, but I don't want it to be like totally at the loss of self either. And what does that look
Right.
like? And I think that's like that tough road to kind of navigate between the two. It's hard. I mean, think Michelle and I struggle with it. We really do.
Oh, no, it's difficult. And I think having the kids also kind of helps because, so for instance, my youngest, I've been doing this since she was 1. So all she knows is me having this business. And
Yeah.
so she actually told me one day, this was probably a year ago, she came up to me and she goes, Mama, I think it's time for me to start practicing how to be a mommy. And I'm like, oh, well, what does that mean exactly? And then she looked at me kind of confused. She goes, well, I have to think of what kind of shop I'm going to open.
Uh-huh.
And
Aw.
yeah, and it was just so, I don't know, it was kind of what I needed, where
Mhm.
you get mom guilt.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm spending all my time on this. And,
Yeah.
I could be taking them to the park for the 10th time this week. And it's nice to know, well, no, they're actually watching, and,
Yeah.
thinks, and I don't push them to start their own business, but them watching me, and, their dad is so creative with making his websites and the branding. they've all honestly have turned into little entrepreneurs, and they're
Yeah.
always looking for, what little business are they going to open. And they come to some of my workshops, and they've been thinking of, what workshops they want to have for their friends. So that's kind of been our unique way of doing like an allowance instead of chores. Cause I'm like, yeah, you fully plan out your workshop and what we're going to do and how much you're going to charge, then you get the profits for your event.
Oh, wow.
So it's,
That's
Okay.
amazing.
yeah, it's been
Right.
really cool that they naturally are interested, and that thankfully I have a space where they can explore that for themselves. And they do it and they're like, yeah, that kind of sucked. Then okay, that's fine too.
Yeah, we learn from it through
Yeah.
an experience versus a failure, right? So that's
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that, some rebranding is coming up in 2027. So what are your goals for the rest of 2026 and going into 2027, since we're over halfway done with the year? And can you tell us about any major events you'll be either attending or hosting coming up this year?
So for the rest of 2026, so we've already slowly been doing the rebrand. Like we've already have our new logo. The website has been changed to a more coming, like something new is coming version of the website. And right now it's just focused on the foundation. So I'm working, like we just did like a mini book retreat with my team. And we actually, the Airbnb we had was a really fun, ultra themed Alice in Wonderland
Ooh,
Airbnb. So if you guys
cool.
need a getaway or you want to plan a retreat, I will send you the link. It was
Yeah.
the coolest Airbnb. But yeah, it's just announcing it to them first. What does this mean? What does this look like down the road? And kind of not retraining necessarily, but it is a rebrand. Like how do we talk about ourselves? What kind of experience are we wanting for our customers? But then I also want them to be in the know of what's happening on the subscription box side, what's going on with our event. So the rest of the year is mostly, again, the foundation, making sure my team's on the same page, and then slowly feeding out, some of our ideas to kind of like test it out. Like, okay, are people liking this or not? Um, so yeah, right now our new focus has been on events, like partnership events. So we have a book club with a la carte later this month. We partnered with Search Central Florida. They have a snail mail subscription. So we are partnered with them for that. My ultimate goal is finding ways that we can do events, but everything that I do, I want it to feel very intentional and worth all of our time. Because again, as moms, we have very little time outside our home, away from our families. And I was like, okay, how can we have like a maximum exposure? Like, what's our focus here? And I want to figure out ways that we can partner in the community, but still stay true to the values of authentic books. So we're not just doing this event just for the sake of us saying, hey, we did this.
Yeah.
So, for example, I would love to do more with our school system. So I really push my team, which is why, slowly we working with them. How can we come up with ideas that aren't the typical bookstore ideas? So let's focus on our values, what's important, and how can we make that happen? So yeah, right now it's just foundation and hopefully doing bigger things that just have a bigger impact in the community. And then, Evan, I don't know. I some fun stuff might come. I'm really excited. It's so hard for me not to have an idea and like do it right now. This is something I
Yeah.
have like actively had to work on for years, because
Hmm.
I literally would go into work one day and be like, okay, so this is what we do now. Like I will completely just change everything like in 2 seconds. So I had to learn how to plan things in advance, which is very difficult for me. So
Yeah, because you've been so kind of like knee jerk to what has worked and having to just evolve as you go. No, that's awesome. We're gonna play a game real quick. Because one of the first events I ever went to for Authentic Books was actually for a Butcher and Blackbird novel, the third one. For Scythe and Sparrow was one of the events we went to, which was really cool.
So fun.
And yeah, I was like a circus performer or something. Like I
No,
can't
you
remember.
were the ringleader and I was the
That's right.
circus performer. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I
That's
was
right.
the
And
acrobat.
we dressed up and everything, and it was great. We had such a good time. So we love a good round of Fuck, Marry, Kill because why not? So let's take the men from that series, and you got Rowan, Lachlan, and Fionn, who are the three brothers. What are your choices, Natisha? What are we doing?
okay, let me think. Okay, I think the obvious one is Lachlan for fuck. The the Mary and the kill are the tough ones. Um, okay, I have to say I'm gonna do Rowan for Mary and
Okay.
Fionn for kill.
Ugh.
I know it's tough. It's tough, but I feel like with Rowan, I am not a romance reader. I keep
Okay.
trying to try different books. It doesn't stick. But then I
Like
read
all
Butcher.
like contemporary, dark, like what, like all in
I
general,
read
like the whole
I don't
thing.
I don't know what it is. I think it's because I'm a horror and thriller reader. So when I
Okay.
read a romance, I'm like looking for all the red flags. I'm like, this dude is
No,
totally
Fair.
gonna kill.
that's fair.
But it doesn't. I'm like, oh, okay. So this is
Oh,
actually
great.
sweet.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
actually a good
It's
person. What?
so when I read Butcher and Blackbird, it was just so fun to read a romance. And I mean, they're serial killers. Like this
Mhm.
is like
Uh-huh.
awesome. It's also
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
like
dark
thinking
comedy.
something
It's
is
great.
like mentally wrong with me that I'm giggling about
Oh,
accidental cannibalism because I
you're in
Yeah.
good
giggled
company.
so hard.
Good
So I picked
good company.
Rowan only
Yeah.
because he was my introduction of maybe you do like romance. And he helped
Mm.
me kind of fall in love with that. So I will
Okay.
pick him for that.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's fair. I think that series is God, it's such a unique one. Bryn Weaver
Yeah.
has just done something totally different and creative that, you haven't read before. And I love her and that series so much. I think that to your point, we read a lot of thrillers too. We just finished a thriller. And people I don't think realize how spicy a lot of thrillers are. There's quite a bit. Like thrillers are adult books. A thriller and horror usually do have sexual elements in them. Now, are they good ones? I mean, that who knows?
Debatable.
We don't know. It's debatable. But I think that's why I love dark romance so much too,
Mhm.
is because you have the red flags, but then usually they don't necessarily tie to the romance piece of it, but the story around it is really dark.
Okay.
Or there are more true to life elements to it that are less of like contemporary to me. I've always had a hard time with like loving contemporary because I feel like it's just not
Perfect.
realistic, I guess.
It's
Yeah,
too
like
perfect.
too
Like,
perfect.
not
It's like
everything's a meet cute, and it doesn't just work out that way. I
I
have an
Yeah.
issue too. We were just talking about how, like, our palette cleansers are, like, our thrillers and reading about, like,
thrillers. Yeah.
and chaos and, like, psychological elements. And I'm like, well, that might say something about me, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I echo that sentiment, and there are some contemporaries that I will enjoy, but as a
It's
genre as a
yeah,
whole,
same.
it's
Like
not my
Allie
favorite.
Hazelwood too has some stuff that she explores in her contemporaries that other authors don't. But I think too on that note, we had another bookstore owner that we interviewed who was like, "How do you guys read romantasy? Like I can't get into that at all. Like I can't like it's not
Mhm.
my cup of tea at all." And I think that's totally fine. I think that's fair. I don't think you should try to like regardless of whether you own a bookstore or not, you shouldn't be like trying to force yourself to like something that you just don't like. That doesn't mean that you can't support those who love it because I do. Everybody who loves contemporary romance, I'm like, man, that's good for you. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Like, that's fantastic that you have your thing
But
that
the
you
thing
love. And like, that's the
is,
best part. Yeah.
I own a bookstore, I want to like it all. So I'm like
Yeah.
determined to find
The
what I
book.
like. Like I'm like, no, I do like romance. I just need to find the type that I like.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I
Hyper
so I do
niche.
not
Yeah.
turn it down, but I'm on the hunt. I am looking and I will find it. But so far Butcher and Blackbird was on my list. I did like that.
Yeah. It was a good one.
Yeah.
All
No.
right.
For sure.
Well, what are you reading right now?
Oh my gosh. I'm reading the Mad Wife. I
Okay.
am, I think, 30% in. I am a person who will not read what a book is about. So if, I don't know.
Raw
I don't know
dogging
what's about
it.
to happen with this woman. I have no idea. But she's a 1950s housewife, and kind of going through what that day to day looked like. And she has a mysterious neighbor that's moved in across the street that does not follow the housewife schedule that they all follow. So me being a thriller person, I'm like, oh, is she like a killer? Like, who is this lady?
Yeah. It's
But
cool.
since I didn't read the back, I don't know. Maybe she's just like a nice lady.
That sounds interesting. That era
But
of life is just so crazy to me because it's
Yeah.
before all, it's kind of, it's not modern, but the way women, women's rights, how women perceived in the home, women's roles and everything, it was so different than it is
yeah,
now, and it's just I find that era fascinating to read about. There's a whole technology boom at that time too, and um I'm interested in the book
Yeah. Me too.
for sure.
I also think too, like, we're in a world of like the trad wife now, where there's this idea and concept. If did you read Yesteryear? There's this idea and concept.
yes, I'm like
Yeah.
4 chapters in, so I will go back. I'm reading the Mad
Yeah.
Wife for a book club, so I had to pause
Okay.
yesteryear, but I will go back.
Yeah. And I really like on the note of there, you're talking about like how, oh, the wife doesn't follow the housewives all around her schedule. Like conceptually, I can't even identify with that at all in this day and age. Like that's so
Mhm.
foreign of a thought that
Right.
to concern yourself so much with your neighbor that you like know if they follow your schedule or not. It's just like what, like
Right.
we all go to this grocery store at this time and like everybody
Mhm.
picks up their kids at this time and like this is your, expectation to your husband and your household and all the things. And the way that that era just doesn't acknowledge creativity and individuality is kind of mind-boggling. It's just nuts.
Well, I think that's
But
what
interesting. Yeah.
Lex's in chemistry so much. So we did
Oh
lessons
yeah.
in chemistry for a book box as well.
Mhm.
And
One of my
funny story
favorites.
with that. So I was emailing with the author about what her candle is going to smell like. And through email, she sounded so much like the main character, Elizabeth Zott. And I'm like, oh my God. So I looked her up. She has like the same hobby. Like she likes to
What?
row. I forget what the other thing was. And I'm like, oh my God, did she like write this about her? Not totally by herself, but
Of
is this
course.
character
Yeah.
like her?
Mhm.
And so yeah, we're going back and forth. I told her all the scents. And she like chose lemon. And she never talks about lemon in a book. So I'm just like, this isn't how this works. But you are the author. I'm gonna give you what the heck you want. And
Yeah.
so she said she wanted to be very crisp, like no extra smell, like just lemon, the sharpest lemon you can find. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And so I'm like, by the way, why?
Yeah.
And so she said Elizabeth Dot is like a lemon. She is bright with undertones of bitterness. And I'm like, okay, that's genius. And I love it so much. And so I was like, by the way, like, how does it feel to be so similar to the main character? And she totally was like upset. I was like, I'm nothing like her. And so I'm giggling to myself reading it. So I'm like, oh my God, that's totally what Elizabeth Zott would say.
It is.
Totally answer the email. So no, I was not offended at all. If anything, it made my day because I'm like, oh my gosh, she is her.
That's hilarious. That's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
But yeah,
Well,
it's definitely an interesting time.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, that's a lot. That's a whole bookish rant we could go down, which we're not going down today. We're going to talk about something else. So we're going to switch it up to down the rabbit hole. Which note to self, that would actually be a really really good line of thought to go down. Maybe Michelle and I we'll go down that one at a different time. But you mentioned several times this Tory Burch Fellowship. Can you walk us through like what that is, what that's meant for you, and its kind of relevancy as a business owner?
Of course. So the Tory Burch Fellowship is the best thing that has happened to me in a long time. But yeah, so Tory Burch, who makes the handbags, she has this separate
The Tory
foundation.
Burch. Yes.
Yes. Yes. I was starstruck the first time I met her. I didn't want her to know I was a fangirl. So I made sure to not wear any of my Tory Burch stuff because I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be like a stalker. But she has a whole separate foundation that focuses on helping other women-owned businesses with, I mean, so many resources. All of this is completely free. Like, I'm so shocked to this day, like everything I have access to. Um, the process to get into the fellowship is pretty not invasive, but kind of. So that was the first time I actually made a business plan. You had to submit your business plan. You had to do a credit check. You had to send them bank statements. You had to write an essay, fill like questions. There were 2 video interviews. It was a year process. You do this whole process for a full year. And then they invite 50 new people each year. And so once you get in, you are put into these mastermind groups. And so I have to meet with my group once a month. And then we get, I think it's 5 advisors that we have. So one focuses on finances, one's business, one's public speaking. I can't remember the other ones. So we had to also meet with them once a month. Like this was like full on. I felt like I was going back to school. Like you have to go to all these meetings. So you have your big community meeting, your mastermind meeting, your advisor meetings, and you're just basically telling them all your problems. Like, for instance, the bookstore. When I got in, I had not opened a bookstore yet. So it's like our first meeting. Oh, by the way, since I last talked to you 2 months ago, I opened a bookstore and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, what? But also very exciting. I love Tory Burch because there is no idea too big. Like there is no, oh girl, why did you do this? This is too much. There is no such thing as too much. And that whole process of building up my team, it was like so thankful because, I've had them to help me along the way. And we go through, things I don't know about, like getting investors. Like how does that work? So we went through how to like pitch, like we're on Shark Tank. And then they flew us to New York for a full week to do all these classes in person. And then at the end of they threw us in a room of investors without telling us who they were. Like they had no name tags or anything. Like literally just threw us into this room. Thought we were having a casual cocktail party. No, like we're at work and it's like 9 o'clock at night. So I'm also tired. So, it quickly taught you to grow thick skin in that sense too. Cause I feel like it can be intimidating meeting other people, especially with like other brands you've heard of. I'm like, oh my gosh, this person's so cool. But then to just throw us in a room, like Tory Burch is casually walking around. These investors are casually walking around. You don't know their intention. And so their whole thing was teaching us, well, it doesn't matter. Like we're all people. And so they always said that the biggest uh deals happens in the back. Like they want to feel like they know you. And so that's how you get the best help. And also just ask for it. Like don't be scared to tell me, what you need help with. I mean it can't be something vague. Like how do I don't know, open a second bookstore. Like it has to be more detailed questions of
Yeah.
what you need. So yeah. So and you go back every summer. I just went back the second year and that is how I got inspired for the whole rebrand. Because I went in with my new list of issues and things I don't know what I'm doing. and we did a whole workshop on intentional business. And oh my gosh, it was so good. I'm not like a very emotional, like cry type person. And that entire room, we were boohoo crying. We were hugging each other, and it was
No.
I was just so shocked. My therapist was cracking up laughing because she's been trying to get me to cry for like over a year. And so she probably was bummed that someone else got me to cry first. But oh my, it just unlocked this because the whole thing, and I won't go down that rabbit hole, but we all have something that we really want, but we've told ourselves, oh, not now or later. But really, there's just like invisible block in your head that has like told you this. And so we did this whole exercise where she like basically like plopped it out of your head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have been holding myself back. Like I could do this right now. Like, why would I not do this right now? And so I came back and freaking like Rain Man. I am like writing down all these notes. I have all these ideas. I'm like, I am tearing down authentic books and we are about to rebuild it brick by brick the way that
Oh, wow.
I wish I had done it from the beginning.
Wow.
So I'm super excited. And yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
thankful for this foundation because I would have felt like this was too much. It's too heavy. And it turns out, no, I could do it. And yeah.
That's
That's
amazing.
awesome. You're inspiring me, honestly,
Mhm.
because I'm like, what have we been not doing? Like, what are we
Mhm.
doing? Like, and I think part of it is like one of the big things that's hard for us is like time management and having enough time to do all the things. I mean, we do an episode every week. So like one of the things that we did for our own rebranding was we decided that we're not going to do deep dives anymore and we're going to bring on guests. And a big part of the bringing on guests was twofold. It's like one, it's more exciting for us to interview people, A, and then B, we get to learn like from all different walks of life, different business owners, creators, people in the bookish space, and it's motivating for us to determine like what we want to do with this. And there's times where we can feel really it's really hard. You know, you're trying to get views, you're trying to get people to know who you are, and we don't have tons of money to invest into this to go spend. I think what we did one where Michelle and I sat, and it was for advertising. It was with, I won't name the company. And we sat there and they went through this whole presentation with us on like how much it's going to cost to advertise for Book Club After Dark with them and like their ROI and like how much you're going to get out of this. And it's going to be so great. We're going to do all these things. And we're like, okay, great. It was
Great.
$500 a day.
Yeah.
Per day.
Oh my
And we were
God.
like, and just
No.
like,
Small
yeah, we'll be in
business.
touch. I was like, uh-huh. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And it was just like kind of like it felt so defeating to be like, yeah,
Mhm.
this is gonna be like it's what we need. We need exposure. Like we need people to like know who we are, you know? And like you get off that call and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. What are we gonna do
That's all.
differently?
Yeah.
Like how yeah, dust it off. Dust it off. We'll figure it out. We're gonna figure out how this is gonna look. And I think your advice of like, what do you want, you know, authentic to books to be in 10 years? Or what do you want your footprint of authentic books to be in 10 years? What does that look like? How old are your kids by then? What kind of exposure or part of their lives do you want to have? Where are they?
Mhm.
And I'll be honest, like Michelle and I have never talked about what Book Club After Dark looks like in 10 years. We've talked about
Mhm.
3 to 5. We've never
Right.
talked about 10. And maybe it's a discussion that we need to have after this
Mhm.
interview and try to iron out like what does that look like for us?
So
Yeah.
it's so eye opening. Like, even if
Mhm.
you guys were like, I don't know, I feel your brain like opens up or your priorities become more apparent. And so
Yeah.
it's like really exciting, even if it's not an outcome you thought you'd come to. Like, if I
Right.
said, oh, I don't want to work here in 10 years. Well, then in that case, I'm like, okay, well, what maximum amount of not exposure, but what can I do to make the most out of these 10 years if I'm like, I don't want to do this in 10 years? Or if I wanted to pass it down to my kids, well, what structures or what
Yeah.
workflows do I need to create where they could easily take this on? So
Mhm.
your 10 years age kind of creates the whole framework to, what you're doing. But I guess that helped me get out of my own head and think outside of the box is I like to look at founders that have businesses in similar-ish industries. So I don't look towards bookstores, which you think you would, but it's so easy just to do the norm. So that's when I was like, okay, Authentic Books is going to be a literary house and we will have legs underneath it. So our literary house has a subscription box. It has a retail location, which is the bookstore. We do big bookish events. I eventually want these events to be large. So more partnerships with bigger brands. And then my publishing house at the end, which that's not happening today, but it's coming. And so, in thinking of it as that way, I start looking up, okay, well, what are other publishing houses doing? Like as far as their events, or what does their content look like? Or, how do their founders get started? How are they marketing themselves? And it kind of helps you. Yeah, you don't have to follow like a blueprint. You start to realize like, oh, there's other paths to getting to what I need instead of like what the normal. So I do my creative day. I do a lot of I learned in the Tory Burch, you always keep growing and learning. And so a big part of that is, looking up people who you look up to or businesses and seeing, what did they do? And they even encourage, sticking your neck out there. And if you were to email the founder of that business, like, you literally are supposed to write the shortest email as possible. But literally like, hi, my name is Natisha. I own a bookstore or I own 50 books. And literally like, do you mind answering this question? When you got to this, like, I read that you had a baby in your second year of business, but you didn't tell me how you did it all. Did you get a babysitter? Like, not that exactly, but
No.
being
Yeah.
okay, just like, I'm just going to ask this question. They answer, they answer. If they don't, they don't. Like, it's not a big deal. But you're supposed to like keep it as little as possible. And just, if it's small enough question, hopefully they, they fill in the gaps.
Okay.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
And I'll be
then-
honest too, I feel like one of the things you mentioned too at the beginning of this, you were talking about trying to respond to everybody. And I think when we first started too, we were like, oh my gosh, people are writing emails to us. We have to, like, what are we gonna do? Like, what are we like? How are we gonna? What are we gonna do with all this? And it's like, I don't even know if we want to talk about that book. I don't even know what that book is, or if we even like that, or like, but you're like so grateful that someone took the time and noticed who you were, and so it's just it's hard. It's a challenge to try to figure out where you want to go and what you want to do. And the reason I want to ask about the Tory Burch Fellowship is you had mentioned a couple times throughout our other questions, and I think it's for any business owner, having other like-minded business owners who are trying to achieve a dream and being in the same room as them alone is motivating. And then just having like a strict schedule and a plan and like a retreat style experience each summer, like that's just awesome. And thanks for telling us about it. I think it's really cool and a unique opportunity that many people probably didn't know that Tory Burch offered. So you can go on there's a Tory Burch Fellowship website where you can do this application. And I looked it up before the episode because I knew this about you. And so I was like, I definitely want to ask Natisha about this because I feel like it's such a unique and awesome opportunity to talk about on the show. And so thanks so much for telling us about it. But what do you think, Michelle? We're ready for next segment here?
Yeah. So now it's time for Mr. Q&A. So in this segment, these are completely random questions where we ask, can be bookish related, cannot be, obviously not shared with anyone. So my question to you, and me and Danny have talked similar topics in the past, but we are in the October months, which all the fall things, if you go to any store, we are looking at Halloween now. So what is your favorite Florida fall like day, like, or an ideal Florida fall day or event that you experience either with your family or friends or anything like that?
It's so tough to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Florida fall is
I'm just like,
80 degrees.
yeah, like why is it this way? Um, so October is two of my kids' birthday is October. Kind of my love of immersion and events actually came from me being a mom because I look forward to their birthdays every year because we come with it up with a theme like 3 months in advance. And I make all the decorations. Everything is just so over the top. And my youngest has become obsessed with Halloween. So last year we did a Halloween themed birthday party at the beginning of October and probably traumatized her entire kindergarten class because we had like a
Oh,
whole skeleton on our dining room table and like all the candy was inside of its body. So you had to like dig in its body to like get the
that's
candy out.
amazing.
Gonna
Yeah,
work
and we
for
had, like,
it.
this whole, like, fog machine, like, in our backyard. It was very spooky and crazy, but,
Cute.
yeah, my favorite fall event isn't necessarily fall-y pumpkin spice lattes. Mostly, we get to do these really fun, birthday parties, and then we all fight over if we're gonna do a family costume or not, and then we don't, which is sad 'cause I always wanted to do a family costume, and
Aw.
I've never been able to do it.
This doesn't
But
Uh,
yeah.
my daughter, her mind changes all the time, and I wish she was bigger into her birthday. She's just like, "Take me somewhere and buy me things." That is I don't care anymore. I'm like, "Okay, I guess. You sure you don't want a party?" She's like, "No, take me somewhere and buy me things." Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And Danny, what
uh
about your
uh
favorite fall?
God. I don't know. I think that because Florida's so hot there, and we talked about this in the past a little bit too, is like I
Mhm.
feel like Central Florida does it big for Halloween. There's tons of activities. There's tons of trick or treating events. There's tons of, things that you can go do and be part of either at Disney or Universal or Legoland or any of the parks. They
Mhm.
have all the things going on. And even this fall, though, particularly is the fall of book releases because the number of
Mhm.
book releases that we have coming out of this fall is
Wild.
big. There's a bunch of like we have two midnight events coming up, and I don't know, maybe we'll do something with authentic books in the fall. I don't know, like who knows what's on the agenda, but I'm just like we just got two things added a week ago for the fall, so I think I'm excited for like dressing up for like a bookish theme.
Mhm.
And I love a good theme, and I like that it's not as hot. It's blistering. It's still pretty bad. It's hurricane season, but I'm hoping that we can like get a little bit of a reprieve in October, although some Octobers have been so awful and so
Yeah.
hot. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping like we get a break this year. But I think that's probably my answer is that there's a lot of stuff happening in the fall for books this season coming up.
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to that part of this fall in particular.
Okay. Alright, fine. Yeah, there's so many releases. It's hard to keep up with. The TBR list is gonna forever grow. 'Cause we gotta make room for this. Um, I guess for me, one of the favorite things that we do is go to, um, in Claremont, the pumpkin patch and sunflower
Oh
field.
yeah.
Was it
Southern
Southern
Hill.
Hills? Southern Hill, yeah. So
Mhm.
that's one of our favorite things. There's a couple other, like, fall festival things, but Southern Hill has just been around for so long, and they've just grown so much, and there's always
Yeah, they do a
you
lot.
know yeah, there's always a lot to do there, and especially with the sunflowers, the blueberry picking is fun, but that's more in the spring, so, that's just something fun to take the kiddos to, or before it was just my daughter, and she's, like, always in for, like, a photo shoot and just, "Look at me with my flowers and my pretty things," and, buy me all the apple cider donuts and all that stuff, so, yeah, just pretending like it's actually 60 degrees out as opposed to, like, 89,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe if we just
Exactly.
pretend, it'll be okay.
All right. So my
Then
question's related to like routine. So
Mhm.
what's something that every day without fail is something you do, whether it's something you eat or a routine or a practice, or is there something every day like without fail that's like you do this thing? It can even be like a self-care item. Like, is there anything that comes to mind that's like your own, you've got to, it's like ritualistic, you've got to do this thing. You have anything like that?
So every morning, because I don't drink coffee, so every morning I have a cup of turmeric ginger tea with half a lime, and
That's
Mm.
oddly
so
specific, which is
sometimes
exactly what I was
it's
looking
sometimes
for. Yeah.
before bed. So sometimes I have 2 cups, but yeah, that's I think my only daily
What is it like a
ritual.
brand? What is this?
There's different brands. So it started with me just drinking hot water every morning. And so then it escalated to me adding lime to the water. And then it escalated to a ginger turmeric tea bag. So now it's all 3.
Okay.
Uh
That's good
and
for your
yeah, I
joints.
love it. So I get
Yes.
my little
Turmeric's so good for you.
that's yeah, that's my little ritual. I used to drink like 4 cups of coffee a day. And then last March, it's been longer than that. Yes, not this March, this year, 2025 March. I went cold turkey on not drinking caffeine. It's surprisingly by the end of the second week, felt like I need it, which is
Mhm.
crazy because I love me some coffee. I still miss the smell of it. So sometimes I will drink a little decaf.
Nice.
That's
Okay.
awesome. I remember so when I was pregnant, I obviously couldn't drink that much caffeine, if any, and then the smell of coffee would just make me nauseous. So I was like, no caffeine. And then when I was breastfeeding, I wasn't drinking caffeine. And it took a long time when I had like that first cup. I think it's not the energy of it for me, it's the warmth of it's just the warmth. It like warmed my soul. I'm like, oh, I remember this. It's like a warm hug in my body. So I have to have my cup of coffee in the morning. We have a Keurig thing and we use the reusable pod. So we don't do like the fancy pods, but we have to have the Cafe Bustelo one. So it is kind of strong, but it tastes really good. And I try to do that before anyone else is up because if I don't drink my coffee before the kids are up, then I'm going to be drinking it cold in like an hour after I
Yeah.
already made it. So it has to be before anyone's up so I can actually enjoy a drink without having to tend to anyone else's needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mine's not food related, but I do like the food related. Although I do pretty much have an iced coffee almost every day. And I guess I'll do a food related one. So we get, you guys are gonna be grossed out by this. I'm sorry in advance. So we get these things like liquid egg whites, but they're not. Um, they don't have any like slimy consistency at all. It comes in this tub. It's from a small business in California that does these things. And they do this like ultra pasteurization technique. And basically, you pump it in. It's designed to like be drank in a like either a protein shake or iced coffee or whatever, and you can't tell that it's there at all. So in the morning,
Oh,
I will go. Yeah, I'll go and we have a I go into the fridge and I'll do my 5 pumps of my egg whites and then I make my iced coffee and I often add chai to it and it's like it's got its own cup. I have my own cup for this. And then on days that I go to work, usually when I'm not going to work, I like a hot cup of coffee at home where I can like sit and enjoy it. But if I'm going to work, like, and I'm going to get in the car and do the whole thing, I don't want a hot cup of coffee because I could spill it on myself. I could just, no. I want my cup that's sealed that I can close, that I don't have to worry about. Anyway, you put the egg whites in, you put all your other stuff. You can't tell that they're there. There's no way you can tell they're there at all. And
I
it's like an
remember
look at
added
that. That was the
protein.
thing.
I remember the
Yeah.
first drink you made. It was when we first started the show, you had an egg white drink. I'm like, this is interesting. I still remember. And you were like, you didn't like that, did you? Because you barely touched it. I'm like, it's an interesting, because I think you frothed it
Well,
up.
so like if
You
you
created like a
yeah,
whiskey thing with it.
yeah, if you take like an egg white and you make a beverage with it or you a mixed drink and you like take the egg and you crack it and you do like that and you froth it with amaretto, like you do a sour, something like that
Mhm.
that has that like lip on it. That is not what I'm talking about. This is
Mhm.
Mhm.
designed like that's its own thing. That's its own thing and that can work too. But what I'm talking about is this is actually originally was created for bodybuilders. That's what this stuff was for. And my husband orders it. And so now I've like dipped into his stash of like egg whites. And so because it's so you can't tell it's there. And I'm really bad about consuming protein throughout the day. Like I know that I just don't get enough of it. I just don't. And so like this is my quick way to like add it in. You do the pumps, you put it in there. You can't even tell. Coffee takes is exactly the same. No weird consistency. Nothing like no
Interesting.
froth. There's no froth. None of that. No, no froth.
Okay.
And you can
That's
stir it.
interesting.
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
no doesn't do any of that. No. That's what it was made for. It's ultra pasteurized, I think is what they call it. I don't know.
Okay.
Some kind of technique. They've got like the patent on it and they're doing things. So it's called Egg Whites International if you look them up. Yeah. It's like a giant
Interesting.
chicken that's looks like a bodybuilder. I can't make this up. Yeah. I wasn't gonna do
The more
food
you
and
know.
I was like, well, there is actually something weird.
That's
Yes, I
for
can
sure.
add to this. I never
I take my egg whites like I do syrup for my coffee.
I
Okay.
never I've well, and here's the thing is like I've literally drank these egg whites for gosh, since like 2013 or 14, like a long time. Like it's become such a normal part of my thing that I don't even consider it abnormal or strange. And then I realized like I guess that is different. I didn't even think about it, but anyway, yeah. All right, and Natisha, you're welcome to ask us like any random question that you so choose. But yeah, that's our mystery Q&A segment. We always get to ask like weird things that we don't know about each other. It's been a lot of fun
Mhm.
over the years or so that we've done this, and we always invite guests to contribute their one question if they desire.
Okay. Let me see. My question is, oh, I have one.
Okay.
What group would you consider yourself back when you were in high school? Like, what group were you
Oh,
in?
like yeah,
Oh,
because oh my God, we were hardcore millennials. Millennials had really distinct like
very
groups.
distinct. Huh. I was so like back in high school, I was even though I had like the flippy side bangs and I definitely listened to like alternative music. Um my style was definitely like thrown up Hollister Aeropostale. I wore like the double layered collared
Mhm.
shirt with
Yep.
like the other it's like 3 layers. You have the tank top and
Yeah.
then you have like the lighter colored collar shirt with the other colored collared shirt on top and then the ripped skinny jeans or and flip-flops and that was like the fit with your Aeropostale or Hollister like tote bag and that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So that
Mhm.
was I guess me. I think that's more like preppy
Sure.
in style.
Yeah.
So but
Uh-huh.
I definitely had like the side bangs that covered my face also.
Oh yeah,
So
same.
Yeah.
I definitely I think I was like more emo in college actually than I was in high school. So, but I definitely like listened to all the bands and went to like did had the eyeliner, but
Mhm.
I never committed to like the raw hair. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like the
Yeah,
crazy,
this
like really
the
big,
raw hair.
yeah, the raw like.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a whole vibe. I didn't fully I
Uh-huh.
kinda wish I had, but I never fully committed that far. I would say I was like a cross between because I had the Converse, like the black Converse. I had some
Mhm.
stuff that had like the checkerboard on it, like some shirts like that, but I never like fully committed to like the scene. I had a black
Mhm.
studded belt. I would say it was more like Avril Lavigne meets like preppy. I could never like go all the way into the emo thing. I couldn't like I just couldn't fully do it. But I think I was like on the threshold. I
You're
definitely
there.
knew all the
I'm
bands.
there.
Mhm.
I
Bookish.
was heavy into, Yellow Card and Under Oath and all the bands like at that
Fall Out
time. Under Oath
Boy.
was like a Florida a local band, but they were pretty big. They got pretty big. And then you had like all your underground bands and all yeah,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I was all into all that. I was obsessed. And I still love music to this day. Like if it's not
Mhm.
books and music, that's kind of one thing I like about authentic books too. Is you guys get the curated playlist, and it's a big part of dark romance. Is there's always like a playlist so often with authors that goes with that genre, and I love that they do that, and I like that immersive experience and getting to experience different sounds with your reading and but I was a total nerd for books. I still loved all of that. Like I remember in 11th grade, for me, the sixth book came out for Harry Potter. So it was a big moment. People I didn't wait in line. the night before because I'm still pretty introverted, but I definitely had pre-ordered and was like getting the book the next morning. And so like I still was like I was a big time book nerd even then.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what led to like the show is like I just still love talking about books. I still love this whole world and like it's just an awesome experience to be part of it now. But good question. What about you, Natisha? Now we need to know. We need the lore. We need to know.
So I can be a little bit of a control freak, which I guess comes in handy for my business. But I was in all the clubs. I was student government, yearbook, the newspaper, like there was any club, horticulture. So I went to a magnet school for environmental science. So there
Cool.
was a lot of nerding going on there as well. But yeah, I was always after school, there before school, doing
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
involved with school. But well, mostly because I was raised by a Black single mother, and so my mom worked two jobs, and so I kind of also filled in time, but I mean she was working all the time. And so yeah, I just always was doing something back to
Mhm.
school at all times until I had to catch the city bus to get back home because I did not have a car. But yeah, definitely the student government type.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's
I
funny you
was I
mentioned
was
that because I know like
treasurer. I
millennial.
I
Oh, you
was
were treasurer?
definitely yeah, I was treasurer.
I
I
didn't
was
know
part of my
that.
student council as well. Yeah. It was a big thing. I
Okay.
had a well so my brother was vice president, which means I had to be also a part of the student council in some way, shape, or form.
Campaign.
So a lot of
Okay.
it was
Okay.
competition. But yeah,
Um,
I feel like it's not as, having worked in high schools and their student government, I feel like it's a different vibe with how student government was back then versus like now and how it's not as I don't want to say it's not as serious, but it was definitely really
big
intense
deal.
in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was in swimming. I was a
Mhm,
swimmer, and then I was in orchestra. So I was like a total nerd. And
mhm,
honors classes, all the whole thing, and AP and whatever. Like I did all the things, and
mhm,
so I loved school. I loved learning, even then. And I think it's interesting that we talk about this. Is like my parents divorced when I was really young, and so I was primarily with a single father household. And it wasn't like today where you had hybrid work. Your parents, when they worked, like they were gone the whole
gone.
time that they worked. So,
And you had
like,
to call
if
their
you were in a
office
single
phone.
parent household,
They're
yeah, if you were in a single
Mhm.
parent household, you were alone a lot. And you had like
Mhm,
I was involved in all kinds of after school activities, and I wouldn't get home until late because again, same type of thing is like there was nobody at home. I was, and they're no fault of their own. It wasn't anything like that. It's just a
Right.
different world than we're in now.
mhm,
And it's really interesting to think about that. Like now I have the ability to do hybrid work, or I could work in between things for my son, or
mhm.
just like that type of flexibility did not exist at that time. Your parent was at their place of work, and there wasn't like the flexibility we have today. Yeah,
Mhm.
interesting to think about that too.
I will say, because I was also like I was in basketball, I was in volleyball, I was coaching, I was doing a lot of stuff. And my dad, from when I was in seventh grade onward, he was the one raising me and my brother, and he fortunately actually had a job that because he worked really high up in a government contract company, and if we weren't after school and practicing, he would be able to pick us up, but then he'd have to leave us at home. So there was like kind of flexibility, but he would either have to go back to work or he would have to shut himself in his office. So there was a little bit of, he was present more. He was able to like attend stuff. But it definitely was like nowadays he would be able to be like full remote or more hybrid in a sense where it allowed for a more present time. I am thankful that he was able to, in his position, be more present just because it was him. It was him trying to raise like me and my brother from in teenage years is difficult for any
Yeah.
age. For boy and girl, it's just a lot. I was definitely thankful for that. Since me and my brother were both in crap ton of stuff. We put so many miles on our minivan, like so many miles. But yeah, well, thank you, Natisha, for joining us today.
Yes,
We really
thank you.
appreciate you taking time to talk to us about
Yeah.
authentic books and just business and all of that. So, can you remind our listeners where to follow you and where they can potentially get a subscription?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's just Authentic Books. And our website is authenticbooks.com. Again, the website's set up to kind of a new chapter is coming. So at the
Mhm.
bottom of the page, you can drop your email, and once subscriptions open back up, then you'll get blasted with that notification. And if you're local to Orlando, we are in Ivanville Village, which is just a little north of downtown. And yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really excited. I'm happy we finally were able to sit down
Mhm.
and pick a day and a time. I know we're all so busy, but this is really great. You guys built something super, super cool. And I hope you
Working
guys
on
can
it.
also be proud of what you've accomplished and having families and full-time jobs. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you for being
Uh,
here.
yeah. So before we wrap up, let's talk about what's coming up next on Book Club After Dark.
Yeah. So next week, we're going to be reviewing the final book in ACOTAR coverage that we've done. It's going to be A Court of Silver Flames. That is Michelle and I's favorite. So we're going to be really excited to talk about that last book before we have 6 and 7 come out. Let's talk about that next week. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't forget, we want to hear from you. If you have thoughts on our discussion today or suggestions for future reads, drop a comment below or message us on one of our social media platforms at Book Club After Dark Pod. Show us your fan art theories or anything bookish you'd like to share.
Yep. You can also visit our website, bookclubafterdark.co. You can stay up to date there on our cozy content and check out our merch. If you would like to reach out to Natisha or Authentic Books, you can do so on their website or on Instagram. They have a good, her team is really great at getting back, and she's got lots of local events that are on there as well.
Yeah. So that's all for tonight. Sleep tight, night owls. Until next time, happy reading.